Welcome back to AM Northwest. If you've never heard of limerence, our next guest is about to enlighten you and me. Here to share her latest collection of poetry, we welcome back the author of What She Wants, poems on obsession, desire, despair, and euphoria, Kim Dower. Good to have you with us.
Hello, Helen. How are you?
Oh my gosh. Well, this is exciting. Well, first of all, what the heck is limerence? What does it mean?
What does it mean? It's a word I came across that I had never heard of before, and it means when you are obsessively infatuated with someone, and usually that is not returned. Those feelings are not returned. So it's the sort of you're fixated, you're in love, you're infatuated. Sometimes it can be returned, but not in the way you are offering it. And it's something I think that most people watching or listening will have encountered in their own lives.
Yeah, at least once. I mean, who hasn't been, had a crush on somebody?
Right.
But really to the point where you're like kind of out of control, right?
You're kind of out of control. I mean, I was doing an interview where someone said to me, "Oh, limerence, it starts in middle school and it ends when you're dead." So basically that.
So did you have a few instances where you were just so infatuated with somebody?
Well, I think all through life, you know, this has happened. But when I read the word, I never knew there was a definition for something that was this huge. And also it has different stages, which I loved. So the stages are infatuation.
Okay.
And then crystallization, when there is something clicking, oh my God, he looked at me, or she said something, or she wrote a note, and then you think all these things about it, which are not necessarily true, but it gives you the ammunition you need to say, yes, they love me too. And then deteriorization, which we can all relate to
like
that.
The reality hits.
It starts to fall apart, even though there was nothing maybe at the beginning.
Right.
And then, my favorite, ecstatic release, which is when you finally let go of the state of limerence.
Yeah.
So I just thought, a lot of my poems would fit into those different categories. And I thought whoever came up with this word gave me the opportunity to put them in a collection and sort of sort them out that way.
What is it about poetry, you think, that people really enjoy? Because there are people who just love poetry. So tell me what the attraction is.
Well, I think that it goes right to the core because it is the most concise form of language.
Right.
It hits the emotions right away. And so that people will go to a poem, even people who say, oh, I don't like poetry, I don't read poetry, and there's a lot of those people too.
But then when they do.
We go to a poem when we need it, when someone is born, when someone dies, when someone's getting married, when there are huge emotional issues in our life where only a poem will kind of take care of that emotional need. And I think for poets also, we write when we're hit with something, although I write about anything that happens all the time. I mean, I can write a poem about a woman walking her dog, which in fact I have in this book.
Do you mind reading one for me?
No, I don't mind at all.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I mean, actually the first poem in the book is called She'll Do Anything for Food.
Okay,
and
yes, I get that.
Right, limerence.
Yeah, limerence.
Anyway, so a lot of my poems, the title is the first line.
Okay.
So she'll do anything for food, the dog walker tells me. She speaks quietly, not wanting to insult her heavy-boned, one blue, one brown-eyed beast tugging at her leash. We did a doggy ancestor test, she confides, discovered she's part wolf, part miniature poodle. Must be the poodle part, makes her so ravenous. Small creatures are ruthless feeders. Think of enraptured rats gnawing their way through orange trees, babies nursing, sucking so fiercely they can burst a nipple. Think of your heart, size of a throbbing fist, the part of you that will do anything for love.
Wow. Wow. Speaking of love, you dedicate the book to Erica Jong.
I do. Erica Jong, most people know her from Fear of Flying and being a novelist, but Erica is a poet. And she started, before Fear of Flying, she wrote 2 great books of poetry, Fruits and Vegetables and Afterlives. And she was a big inspiration to me in high school. I read her poetry.
Yeah.
And I was so lucky that years later I got to meet her. We became good friends. We even went on a poetry book tour together once. Yes, and she's, we used to write poems back and forth to each other.
Yeah.
So she was a great inspiration, and she was an obsessive person, always in love. So I thought, you know.
Oh yeah, that's very true.
Right?
You were at one time a poet laureate for the Hollywood West Hills for what,
West Hollywood, yes.
West Hollywood. Sorry, so for 2 years.
Yes.
So what do you do as a poet laureate?
Well, it was
in West Hollywood?
It was so fun because, you know, the city has a budget for the arts, so they. I was able to do a lot of activities. I was teaching at the library. I went into the 5th grade classrooms and did poetry in the schools with kids. I did a project with everyone in West Hollywood, I mean anyone who wanted to participate, where I had prompts. I live in West Hollywood because I love West Hollywood and I would take all the lines from different people and I created one poem called I Sing West Hollywood Electric I Sing the Body Electric after Walt Whitman. And they made posters of the poem and sent it all over the country to different schools and libraries. I mean, they give you a chance to help people enjoy poetry in different ways. And people do, if you show them a way to have fun with it. They do love poetry.
You probably are inspired by so many things that happen. I mean, not just your love life, but children, pets, all of that.
Absolutely.
And at one point, you were what was called a PR escort. You would escort authors.
Well, not a PR escort. I have a company that does publicity for authors.
Right.
So escorting is not my strong suit since I'm afraid to drive on the freeway. They wouldn't get very far.
And that means taking people from place to place.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not not that term. You've got a book event. We got to get to that so I can get out of my awkward phrasing here.
That's all right.
And that is at Powell City of Books on 10th and West Burnside, and that is tonight at 7. It's also with Karen Carbo.
Yes, I'm thrilled to see my old friend Karen Carbo, Portland's finest.
Yes.
And she left Portland
author.
for Couleur, the south of France, where she teaches writing retreats and workshops.
Oh,
but she's back visiting, and so I connected my book tour with her because you know, I can't wait to see her. So she'll be at Pal's with me tonight.
That's awesome.
And and she used to read my very early poems a very long time ago. So.
It's fascinating. It's really good. Really
Thank
good.
you, Helen.
All right, we want to tell everyone the book again is called What She Wants, Poems on Obsession, Desire, Despair, Euphoria. Kim Dower, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.